Hello everyone, and welcome to the Dice Commando YouTube channel. I'm Andrew, with you here as always. This is the Commando Cast, a video cast about all things Star Wars Destiny. This video and others like this one are possible thanks to viewers like you. Please show your support with a like and subscribe, and be sure to hit the bell notification icon so you don't miss any new videos. If you want to get involved with the channel, consider becoming a channel member. There are many benefits to channel membership, including access to our Discord, exclusive deck tech and strategy videos, and the opportunity to help create channel content. I want to sincerely thank all our channel members, as I truly couldn't do this without your support. You guys rock. Go Commando. Hello everyone, welcome to Dice Commando, and Happy New Year. Happy 2020. This is airing on New Year's Day in the US, and I know that a lot of other places in the world have already had their New Year's, but again, thank you for sticking with us for yet another year. 2021 promises to have bigger and better things coming for pretty much everything, because you can't really do worse than what we already had, right? So anyway, thanks for joining me today. So today I want to talk about a new product I've developed called SWDB, the DB. So no, I'm actually joking, right? The joke was that the joke is that you need a database to navigate the database these days with all the fan sets out there. So instead, that's actually what I want to talk about today is, kind of the situation that we're in with, ARH as a fan set. We have other fan sets, fan clubs, continuing committees out there, kind of navigating that and trying to go forward from there. Hello everyone, just a real quick interruption. I had shot this video earlier in the week, and I'm coming back here to reshoot this and then go re-edit it and re-upload and stuff. But you can actually tell from the episode number 141 versus 142, which is one that went up effectively yesterday, talking about Wild Horizon. So like I said, I had shot this earlier in the week. The reason that I'm doing this is it became highly more relevant. There was a huge explosion, argument, discussion, whatever you want to call it, on Facebook about the different communities, which is kind of what this topic is. Minds don't get the two confused. This is not a response video to that. It's not a lying or agreeing or disagreeing. Like, it has nothing to do with that at all. So please keep that in mind as you're going through this video. Thanks guys for watching. Hello everyone, welcome back. Thanks for joining me again today. So before we get into this, let's kind of start with what I believe is the obvious, which I'm sure that the majority of us agree on, which is all of the various continuing communities, fan card maker, content creators, whatever you want to call them out there. It would obviously be better for the community at large if they were all, it would be better, I'm not going to say if they were all working together, but it would be better if there was just one singular voice, right, in terms of the future of Star Wars Destiny developing fan sets. Now, that comes with a caveat, right? Sometimes people are they just want to make a fan card set, or they just want to make dream cards or something like that. I mean, I've made sets in the past that I've released for specific events or something else I was trying to do, and that's not really what I'm talking about here, right? What I'm talking about is a continuing committee whose intent is to continue to develop sets really in perpetuity, right, for lack of a better term. So I think I'm confident that it's very damaging to the community to have multiple of these happening at the same time. So with that said, let's go ahead and kind of take a step back at really the history of how we got to where we are today. And to be clear, I don't know all the details and all the stuff behind the scenes. I'm talking just kind of a high-level history. So when the game was announced to be killed, when FFG was walking away from the game in January, it took like 18 minutes for there to be discussion of the concept of there being a continuing committee to keep the game going. And I know there was a lot of very high-powered, high-ranking officials, whatever you want to call it, in the Star Wars Destiny community, who immediately started that conversation, right? I mean, I think it was within weeks, if even that, we had someone say, hey, here's what we're doing, we've established this, contact us if you want to be involved, stuff like that, right? Now, what happened over the next several months so that was really the birth, if you will, of what is now a renewed hope, kind of, right? I mean, or I should say, that's renewed hope was what really emerged from that initial conversation. But what also emerged from that initial conversation was a bunch of people who disagreed fundamentally on various things, right? There was we've talked about it many times before, there was the reuse dice crowd. We should only ever make cards that reuse existing dice. There was the no rotation ever crowd, and so on and so on and so on, and various design philosophies, and so on and so on. And what you saw over time was various factions split. Some people felt like their voices weren't being heard. They'd come to the party 3 months late, and the group was already established, and they couldn't break into the groups, and they decided to do their own thing. And various other completely reasonable reasons of why you might want to go off and do your own thing. So that's kind of where I believe that's really fundamentally where the splintering came from. So then moving ahead to A Renewed Hope, it was very clear A Renewed Hope came out of the continuing committee discussion as really the best positioned group to do it, and they kind of solidified that position with the release of Faltering Allegiances, and it was really kind of in August timeframe we started to really, I should say late, I don't know, maybe mixing the timelines up, but late summer timeline leading into October was really where ARH popped up. They were the first group that really had a solid, concrete plan and were developing it and doing stuff. And fundamentally, they really understood that there was a lot more necessary than just pumping out cards, right? They were supporting it with formats, tournaments. They got their stuff on the DB. I know that the Echo Base guys, I primarily think it was Mark Lockett. I'm sorry if it's the wrong Mark. But I know the Echo Base guys were instrumental in getting the FA stuff onto the DB, which was, of course, necessary for the long-term success of any such project, I should say. So that happened. Now, we saw this interesting thing in the couple weeks leading up to the Faltering Allegiances release, which was really a deluge, I think is the right term, of continuing committees coming out. And there was a lot of problems with that, and it was a very tumultuous time, in my opinion, because it felt like what was happening was a lot of people were like, oh my god, these guys are organized, they have a date set, they're dropping, I need to beat them. Right? If I'm first, then I'm the one. So what we saw was a series of sets get dropped by various different groups, basically trying to beat them to the punch, and a lot of them, as you would expect, some of them were not very good. So I know we had Continuing Community Canada was in there, and we've had New Destiny Hungary also, but they're kind of doing their own thing different. But anyway, the point is we have all these different content creators, or I should say continuing committees, or maybe content creators is the right thing, because to doing an aside, right, talking about like the New Destiny Hungry guys, like they just kind of keep pumping out cards, like they're not trying to like be anything official. In my opinion, they're just kind of like pumping out fan cards for people to use, and like I don't think there's a problem with that. I don't think that interferes with anything. So I want to be very clear about like the New Destiny guys. You're not really part of what I'm trying to talk about here, and keep doing what you're doing, right? That's not here. So where I'm going with this is, kind of what we saw through that tumultuous period was a whole bunch of people trying to get their hands in the ring, whatever the right metaphor is, and it was making a lot of people very nervous. It was confusing to keep up with what was what, and ARH is very much, with help of the Echo Base guys getting into the DB, they very much, in my opinion, solidified what is and what isn't. They have their own website and stuff like that. So I think we've moved past really that period. But again, it was mainly because there was ARH was really the only group that was really well positioned to do this, again, in perpetuity. However, a couple weeks ago, I was really impressed by the Coruscant Initiative. These guys here, I'm showing their logo. I think it was 2 weeks ago at this point, they dropped some cards like, hey, our set's not ready yet, but here's some spoilers, which isn't atypical. And I don't even want to really go through the spoilers. I'll show Palpatine right now, but I don't really want to go through the spoilers in themselves, that they do appear to have some really good cards and really good ideas. But what really impressed me, and why I think that the CI, the Coruscant Initiative guys, are worth listening to from a continuing community standpoint, is basically the work that they've done in the background. So they took the DB work one step farther. So the work to get FA and ARH in, the FA cards in on the DB, really didn't fix a lot of the problems we were having with the DB. And what these guys did, so the Coruscant Initiative guys are primarily French players, is my understanding. I know they're primarily European. A lot of them are French. I know there's a fair amount of the Your Destiny guys that are involved with that. And if I'm wrong, I don't know at what level, so if I'm wrong there, please excuse me. But the point of what I'm talking about here for why I was impressed with the CI guys is what they did is they basically rebuilt the SWDB website kind of on a dummy site, is my understanding of how this happened. They went through, they fixed all the issues, they contacted the developer for SWDB and said, hey, do you want to implement our code? He said yes, and they did. So they fixed a lot of the problems we were having already, like the elite characters issue and some other stuff. But primarily, what I'm showing right now, right here, is if you go to the card section of the drop down, what you see is you now have a section for a renewed hope, which is basically another tab for sets of that format. So what this is clearly doing is paving the way for there to be multiple different, for the DB to be able to support multiple different continuing committees. So with that said, that's another I'm impressed at the CI guys being able to really go out. I mean, they're motivated, they're clearly intelligent, they clearly understand that there's a lot more than just like putting pictures on cards and putting them out there, right? So I think that there's a lot to be said for that. And I'm also impressed by the fact that when they redid the site, they they included the other groups. They left room for the other groups, which to me, at least, implies that they aren't trying to compete with other people. They're just trying to exist independently. So I think that there's a lot of good things going there that speak to them well as a group. Now let's move on to the next part, right? Obviously, it would be better if ARH and CI didn't exist independently if they were one group, right? So I know that originally there was, creative differences that led to the split way back in the day. And obviously, I hope that now that the CI guys have basically, for lack of a better term, demonstrated their value, I hope that there's conversations happening between ARH and CI to eventually merge or become one, or whatever the term may be. But at least I think we can be happy that it doesn't appear that they want to compete with each other, right? And I think that was a problem we saw for a lot of the committees in that kind of early October timeframe. Was they're like, no, we're the right one, no, we're the right one, no, we're the right one. So I think they're trying to exist independently, which is far healthier than that. However, I mean, again, touching on the theme again, right? It's going to be better for everyone long term if there's only one outlet. So I think that would be, not I think, again, I'm confident that having those two groups work together would be a positive for the community. But I want to make sure they get their shout out. It looks like they're doing really good work over there. I'm actually excited to see what else they do because they had some really cool ideas and mechanics. And I'd love to see, right, even if the ARH guys don't like their cards or whatever, if they were to merge and moving those mechanics in, I think would be really cool. Over the next forever of trying to develop new ideas, the more new ideas we have is going to be the better. So I think it would really be great to see everybody kind of bury the hatchet or whatever the proper term is and move forward, because I think it would be better for everyone. But either way, very exciting. Please check out their stuff. Don't forget, of course, A Renewed Hope has Redemption coming very soon. I believe it's the 29th. Yep, it's the 29th is what their release date is going to be. I'm sure we'll start seeing, we saw some spoilers already from the Echo Base guys. I'm sure that we'll see a deluge of spoilers coming into early January, and I'm very much looking forward to that and the continued future of Star Wars Destiny. So thanks everyone for joining me today. If nothing else, go Commando.